Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students taking Introduction to Linguistics this summer semester. 2 days ago I started to talk about the different kinds of phrases in some kind of detail. And now I'm going to continue with the transitive verb. Of course, yesterday I said something about the transitive verb, but we did not continue the explanation. So as I said last time, there are different kinds of verbs in English. A transitive verb, intransitive verb. So what we mean by intransitive verb, a verb that doesn't take objects, and number two, transitive verbs, which are verbs requiring objects, and then a linking verb. A linking verb is a verb that is followed by a complement of subject. The complement of subject can be a noun phrase or can be adjective phrase and can be a prepositional phrase. And then we have the transitive verbs. The transitive verb is a verb that must take a direct object and indirect object, and we have transitive complex verbs. A transitive complex verb is a verb that must take an object and a complement of object. So don't forget the things here. We have intransitive verb. The intransitive verb is a class of verb which doesn't take an object. So example, Ken snores, the baby cried. So as you see, we have a sentence here. We have the sentence, noun phrase, we have noun, and then we have verb phrase intransitive, snores. Last time I said that the two most important elements of a sentence are the noun phrase, which is the subject, and the verb phrase, which is the verb. And remember, not all sentences must have objects. So here we have Ken snores, we have subject, and we have a predicate or the verb. Therefore, verb phrase consists of intransitive verb. There are also other constituents which can occur with the intransitive verb, but they are optional rather than obligatory. What they are the adjective or adjective phrase or verb phrase. Remember, they are optional, not obligatory elements, not compulsory. They can appear, but they don't have to. Constituents or elements which act as adverbials, for example, adverb phrase and a prepositional phrase, that is PP, behave in this way. Ken snores very loudly. If I say the girl slept soundly or the girl is sleeping soundly, etc. I would say the plane fell. The plane fell to the ground. The plane fell to the ground. So the verb fell is a transitive verb. I would say the old man is laughing. The old man is laughing hysterically, and so on. The baby cried in the night. So the baby usually cries in the morning, and so on. So as you see here, very loudly is an adverb phrase. We have the verb of degree and we have the adverb. And in the night is once again is an adverb of time, or we call this a prepositional phrase. In the night is a prep phrase functioning as adverb or adverbial. Comparing if we want to compare the constituents, we will find that there's a difference in form but not function. So once again, difference in function, difference in form, but not in function, because both of them function as adverbial. So the adverbial A in sentence number 8A has the form of an adverb phrase. The adverbial A in 8B has the form of a prepositional phrase. But remember, this PP function as an adverb of time. When we say the child cried in the night, or in the morning, or in the afternoon. So in the morning, in the afternoon, all of them are verb phrases functioning as adverbs or adverb of time. The baby is crying in the room. So in the room is a verb phrase functioning as adverb of a place, and so on. So this is a difference in terms of what the constituent is, its form, and what it does, its function. So if you look at this diagram, we have sentence, and then you have noun phrase and verb phrase. So these are two key factors that we have to take into consideration. Noun phrase, we have noun that is can, and we have the verb phrase, we have the verb that is intransitive, snores, and then we have the adverb phrase, very loudly, that is a degree. We call this adjective of degree because it shows the degree or intensity loudly, okay. Once again, here we have, if you see, we have the same thing. We have PP or a prep phrase, preposition in the phrase or a prep phrase. We have the preposition in, and then we have the noun phrase, we have the determiner, and then we have the noun. So the determiner is really important here in the night or at night. Okay, dear students, you need to understand that if the verb is modified by a prep phrase, there must be a preposition which is the head word, and the other element is the noun phrase, because there is no preposition without a noun phrase. Remember this. Okay, the transitive verb. I want to explain this in Arabic. Some students, كثير من الطلاب يخطئوا في استخدام الفعل الذي لابد أن يأخذ مفعولين به. إذن هناك أخطاء ترتكب كثيرة جدا، مثل ارتكاب الخطأ في استخدام الفعل send، الفعل take، الفعل bring، الفعل throw. الفعل طبعا give يتناسب فيها اللغة العربية واللغة العبرية واللغة الإنجليزية. كثير من الطلاب يقولوا أنا أخذت الطعام لهدى. So they say I took the food, I took for Huda the food, and that is wrong. So I would say this is negative interference between Arabic and English. So the transitive verb is a verb that requires a direct object and indirect object. Without looking at the screen, we have the verb give, in Arabic يعطي. So the verb give had the same form as it is in English, or as in English we say أعطيت محمدا قلما، أعطيت قلما لمحمد. So we can say I gave Muhammad a pen, I gave Muhammad a book, I give a book to Muhammad, I give a book. So you will find that the preposition is free here, it can move, and we can use a preposition. I gave a book to Muhammad, I gave Muhammad a book. So you see that then direct object can move. But we can generalize this rule in Arabic language. Remember this. In Hebrew we say أنينة أنت محمد هسافر، أنينة أنت هسافر لمحمد or لمريم. I sent Muhammad an email, I sent an email to Muhammad. I took Muhammad some food, I took some food to Muhammad. Okay, I brought Muhammad a new laptop, I brought a new laptop to Muhammad. As you see, you can use the preposition, so it depends on the importance, but in either way, the beneficial or the receiver is the indirect object. Okay, I sent Muhammad a cell phone. So a cell phone is the direct object, and Muhammad is the indirect object, regardless of its position in the sentence. So once again, here we say Rami told the children a story. You can say Rami told a story to the children, but you cannot say Rami told for the children a story. No, that is not acceptable. So many students say, my dad bought for me a car. So they translate أبي اشترى سيارة لي. You can say my dad bought me a car, or my dad bought a car for me, and so on. So the verb told is followed by two noun phrases, the children and a story. So a story is the direct object and the children is the indirect object. So the second noun phrase, a story, is the direct object, as you see. So once again, the recipient or the beneficial is the word children. You see, here we have two noun phrases, the children and a story. We have the determiner there, and we have the determiner, which is the indefinite article story. Okay, the function of the constituents are Rami told the children a story. So Rami is a subject, it's noun phrase, and told is the transitive, is the transitive verb, and the children is the indirect object, and a story is the direct object. And we can say Rami told a story to the children. The verb gave is also the transitive verb. Examples: Sue gave Oxfam a jumper. So Oxfam is the beneficial. So a jumper was given to Oxfam, and we can say so gave a jumper to Oxfam. So a jumper is the direct object and Oxfam is the indirect object. If you want to change this into passive, so we have two cases. You can say Oxfam was given a jumper, or a jumper was given to Oxfam. So as you say, the verb gave here is followed by two noun phrases. This is the first noun phrase, Oxfam, and that is the second one, a jumper. But if you want to do it in the other way, you can say, so gave a jumper to Oxfam. So a jumper is noun phrase, and to Oxfam becomes a prepositional phrase. Dear students, hopefully that you get this point. Okay, the verb phrase using the transitive verb is not really complete within both objectives. They are obligatory. I say I gave John, I sent John. So the sentence is not meaningful. That's why it needs a complement. However, in a conversation, the answer, Sue gave a jumper. So it means تصدقت به, gave a jumper only. Be complete if it comes in a question. What did she give? What did she give Ahmed? A jumper. What did Rami send Ibrahim? Some money, a letter, an email, and so on. So otherwise the answer can't stand alone. So this is acceptable only when it is an answer to a question. And now we move to ways of phrasing the indirect object. Sue gave Oxfam a jumper. Sue gave a jumper to Oxfam, as you see. Ray told the children a story, as you see the preposition here. Ray told a story to add children. Ray sent Muhammad a letter. Ray sent a letter to Muhammad. So we have the preposition that precedes the direct object, the indirect object. The preposition to in this example has joined the noun phrases, Oxfam and the children to form a prepositional phrases. We have only looked at the prepositional phrases which function as adverbials, but dear students, you need to remember a very important point here is that not all prepositional phrases function as an adverb or adverbs, because here when I say to the children, it can't function as an adverb or adverbial. That will be tested in your second midterm exam, inshallah. So, you know, because that is the indirect object. A constituent which functions as indirect object then can have either the form of a noun phrase or the form of a verb phrase. So we have sentence, noun phrase, and verb phrase. The noun, as you see, that is a proper noun, so ism alam. And then we have, okay, verb phrase, we have three things. We have the verb, the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Okay, this is very clear now. Okay, we have a verb phrase, and we said when there is a verb phrase, there is to be a noun phrase. So we have the preposition to, and we have the noun phrase. We have the noun that is Oxfam. And in today's lecture, I said a phrase can be a single word. Hopefully that you take this into consideration, lest you don't have confusion in your exam. The function of the constituent phrases, okay, is we have so and we have gave a jumper to Oxfam. So gave a jumper to Oxfam. Subject, the transitive verb, direct object and indirect object. The rules of a prepositional phrase to incorporate this second type of function. So we have a verb phrase consisting of a preposition plus noun phrase. Well, I think that's very simple. Okay, function, okay, 1.a, so function, adverb, and here we have number 2, indirect object. Sally looked up. Sally looked up. نظرت إلى الأعلى. So look up, that is an adverb, and it can be preposition. Sally looked up, and here we say Sally looked up the chimney. So you see that chimney, that is the object. So gave a jumper to Oxfam. So that is intransitive verb, that is a transitive verb, and that is the transitive verb, as you see. The direct and indirect objects occupy different positions in the sentence. To whether two nouns phrases, noun phrase plus noun phrase, or noun phrase plus a prepositional phrase, as I said last time. So we have noun phrase plus verb phrase. Okay, example, so gave Oxfam a jumper, or so gave a jumper to Oxfam. So in either case, that is right. So if a noun phrase plus noun phrase, I mean, if this construction is used, the indirect object precedes the direct object. If the noun phrase plus the prepositional phrase is used, then the direct object precedes the indirect object, as you see. The direct object, okay, precedes the indirect object, as you see. But in this case, the indirect object comes before the direct object. However, not all verb phrases use the structure verb plus noun phrase plus a verb phrase are the transitive. Okay, example, Ken made a cake for the party. So Ken made a cake for the party. You cannot say Ken make the party a cake, because this is not a human being. Okay, so remember that can't be a transitive verb, because it is followed by a direct object and a verb phrase that it shows the purpose. So that doesn't represent or show human being. So here the prepositional phrase for the party is not functioning as indirect object, because you cannot say Ken made the party a cake. No, but you can say cake. Ken make his mom a cake. Ken made me a cup. Ken made me a cake. Ken made a cake for me. That is right. So you have to test this. Try substituting the alternative structure, noun phrase plus noun phrase, with the resultant switch in positions of the direct object and the indirect object. So the sentence will be, Ken made the party a cake. So that is not acceptable in meaning. If the verb made was functioning as the transitive verb, this substitution should work, but it clearly doesn't. And the example, Ken made a cake for the party, the prepositional phrase is functioning as an adverbial, and so it is optional. We can say Ken made a cake for the party, for the school, etc. Here we have subject, okay, noun phrase and verb phrase. You know the things, I've explained them several times. Look at the prepositional phrase now. Okay, we have the preposition for, and then we have the noun phrase, determiner, the, and the noun party. Okay, here the verb made is therefore a transitive verb, which is an obligatory noun phrase functioning as a direct object, and an optional prepositional phrase functioning as adverbial, which is for the party. So for the party is an optional prepositional phrase functioning as an adverbial. In this context, the for noun phrase functions as direct object. The for prepositional phrase functions as adverbial in the context of the transitive verb using a prep phrase as in the sentence. So, gave a jumper to Oxfam. Rami gave some money to his friend. The form noun phrase again functions as a direct object, but the form of prepositional phrase functions as indirect object. So C rules, well, that doesn't matter. So, and now we move to intensive verb. Intensive verb is a linking verb, and okay, its main function is to link between the subject and the complement. Intensive verbs or relational or linking, okay, or copular include verbs like seem, sound, appear, the verb to be is, are, get, remember, get, go, and grow when they mean become. Let me say this in Arabic. الأفعال get, grow, and go يمكن أن يستخدموا كأفعال ربط أو intensive verbs. إذا كان معناهم يصبح, I would say it has grown dark in this room. لقد أصبحت معتمة في هذه الغرفة. So the verb grow here is a linking verb. If I say my English is getting better, لغة الإنجليزية تتحسن. So the verb get and the grow are linking verbs, and the other verb is go. I would say Muhammad Evans has gone mad. Are you going mad? You have gone mad. So you have gone mad means لقد أصبحت مجنونا إلى آخره. So once again, we shouldn't mix between the verb grow when it is a transitive verb, when it is a intransitive verb, and when it is a linking verb. I would say the children are growing, the plants are growing. So the verb grow here is intransitive verb. It means يكبر يتنامى. I would say Gaza's economy can't grow anymore. Okay. Okay, he says that we have 2 minutes. A common feature of these verbs is that what follows the verb in a sentence relates back to what precedes the verb. Let's say the noun phrase subject. Sally became a doctor. If you say Sally became a doctor means Sally is a doctor. So the verb became is a linking verb, and the noun phrase a doctor or a doctor is a complement of subject. So that is a complement of subject. Complement of subject means مكمل للفاعل. George is in the garden. So is a linking verb, and this is adverbial. It can be complement of subject or adverbial. It's up to you. Sue seems unhappy. So seems is a linking verb, or Sue is getting unhappy. So unhappy is a complement of subject. So I think there is no need to explain this because things are very clear. Okay, in Sally became a doctor. Okay, a noun phrase functions as a complement of subject or subject complement, and in George is in the garden, the prep phrase function as complement of subject. The example, so seems unhappy, unhappy is a complement of subject. So remember, intensive verb is once again is a linking verb, is a linking verb, so don't mix. Okay, Sally became, it doesn't have meaning. George is, it doesn't have meaning. And so seems, it doesn't meaning, because a linking verb must be post modified or followed by a noun phrase or adjective phrase. Remember? So what comes or what follows the linking verb or the intensive verb is a noun phrase or adjective phrase. Okay. Okay, here we have some examples. Saleh is a doctor, Muhammad Abu Anza is the cameraman, and Saad Miqdad is our great teacher, and so on. So our great teacher, cameraman, video recorder, all of them are complement of subjects. So here Saleh is a doctor, noun phrase. Saleh is in the garden, that is a prep phrase, and Saleh is unhappy. I would say Saad's idea is great. His idea sounds interesting. So sound and seems, all of them are linking verbs. So can we say Saleh became a doctor? Yes. Saleh became unhappy? Yes. But not Saleh became in the garden. No. You can say Saleh became in the garden, or Saleh seems in the garden, etc. As you see here, this is a complement of subjects. So the noun phrase here is a complement of subject. Can I use an adjective phrase? Yes, I would say Saleh became very happy. Saleh became extremely happy. Dear students, okay, that is the end of our lecture, inshallah, and we will continue with what is called complex transitive verb. Okay, thank you so much, dear students, for joining me.